All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master. Today we're going over AC tools every technician and shop should have. Now, of course, first and foremost, you got to verify it's blowing cold or not. Now, my favorite tool for measuring at the vents is this power probe tool. And I highly recommend you spend the extra $22 and get a second probe. That way you can check multiple locations, making sure it's even across the entire dash. If it has rear AC, you can also check those vents at the same time. A nice thing about it is you can get a direct correlation to ambient temperature if you have the main probe outside the vehicle. Really, really handy. Obviously, there's cheaper alternatives out there, like, just cheap digital probes, but these work really well and they're not really that expensive. Of course, for true diagnostics, you should already have the other stuff you're going to need. A capable scan tool, electronic diagnostic equipment, like multimeter, test light, etc. But that's a given. Now, another essential tool is a UV light and the glasses that go with it. Now, it's really important you validate the light works with the dye that your shop uses. We'll get into dyes and injectors in a minute, but it's really important that you verify that it does actually glow. Every now and then, cheap lights especially don't always work. Now, this light used to be UV, now it's CPS. But this is the light I use. But this looks really good as far as a UV light. Unfortunately for this one, I will not have an Amazon link. I can't find it on Amazon, so you might be able to get it on the tool truck or other sources by Googling the part number. But a good UV light and glasses is essential. Now, of course, you have to get the dye in the vehicle. Now, that's usually done on the machine itself, but newer systems, especially R1234YF, they don't include oil injection at all. All they do is remove it. At least the machines I have used. So you're going to need some sort of dye injector. Now, these are not expensive. This is one I just found on Amazon. It's not the ones I have, but it's basically a pressurized container. Remove all the air from it, and then make sure you just squeeze in the amount you need. Now, it's really important you use compatible oil with the vehicle you're working on and has dye in it. But that's all you need to do. And number 2, don't put a ton of oil in a system, especially a system you're just vacuuming and recharging. Over-oiling is one of the biggest problems with cooling complaints. I've had vehicles with massive amounts of oil in it and well beyond the capacity, causing just poor performance. Evac and recharge will not remove all of the oil in the system. So when you put oil in, understand there's going to be a lot of oil still in the system. So be careful on how much you inject. You don't need to inject 6 ounces into the system. Now, this next one is one most people do not know exists. If you've ever dealt with the ball style high pressure lines and they leak, this is the socket to unscrew them. It's a specialty socket. It's $12. It's not that big of a deal. Yes, you can use a pair of pliers, but usually they're on there pretty tight. They usually come with pre-applied thread locker, so keep that in mind. But these are the correct socket to remove these, so pick it up. All right, next one is especially important on R1234YF. 20, 30, 40 minutes to recharge a system because you found a leaking Schrader valve sucks. Now, I have the kits from Mastercool. That's why I've put these in the video. And it basically, you assemble the kit with the Schrader valve tool that you need. You've got a valve to block off the system. You lose minimal amount of refrigerant and simply replace the Schrader valve, put a new one in it, and you're good to go. On that note, quick note on damaged Schrader valves. 9 times out of 10, it is operator error. when they were hooking up the AC machine or a set of gauges, they cranked down the couplers and you slightly bent the Schrader valve depress pin. Don't do that. Open the valve and then turn it a little bit more and you're done. Now this kit is for R1234YF. They also have a kit for R134A as well. Dies don't always work on everything you do. So sometimes you're going to have to suspect evap cores or other hard to get locations. A refrigerant leak detector that detects R134A and R1234YF. Now these are not cheap tools. They are what they are. There's cheaper versions out there, but I've only used the Impacta when it comes to R134A, and I've only used this Robinair one for 1234YF, and I can certify that both of them work. The reason I'm pushing you to this one is because it does both R134A and R1234YF, which I have to keep saying. So this is one I would suggest because it does both and it does a good job. All right, now the rest of this stuff is pretty much should be shop equipment. Hard, straight shop equipment. Now we're going to AES Wave. Great people with that site. I have no affiliation with them. It's just great people. I know them. They take care of our industry. The best way to charge a system to find leaks, especially in R1234YF, is to charge the system with CO2. Back in the day, we used to use nitrogen. CO2 is detectable, so we've switched to CO2. It's still a dry, high-pressure gas like nitrogen, so you're not introducing moisture into the system. You're introducing dry gas, and it goes into the system at high pressure. So you can actually turn on the AC system and let it run. It will not cool, but you can get the compressor going to build pressures even higher and see if you can determine a leak. Now, this is also available for R134A. You're going to have to go to your welding supply shop to get CO2. They'll have it. You get a regulator, neck it down to a quick coupler, plug it in, you're good to go. Set the pressures and plug it up, and it charges a system. You don't need to pull a vacuum, though I'd recommend pulling a vacuum. All right, so you've got the CO2 in there. How do you determine the leak? If it's a more obvious leak, Bullseye one-shot leak seeker foam 4-pack, which is currently unavailable. But one shot is really important. The can is one-time use only. You're not using it a second time unless it's later that day. Basically, once you've used it, it's done. It should be billed to the customer. They're expensive, but I was hoping there was a picture of it, but it foams up really nice and will change colors if it detects a leak of CO2. Now, truth be told, your shop should buy this kit. Now, this comes with a box of that fluid, the couplers to hook up and test other systems as well, along with a CO2 detector. Now, there's other CO2 detectors on the market, but I haven't used them either. This one, I know a bunch of people that have used it and testify that it works very well for detecting CO2 leaks. And it comes with the leak detector. There's 2 kits, by the way. CO2 cylinder packs, those are not enough for charging AC systems, so don't think they are. Distilled water wash, clean the foam off. High pressure regulator, low pressure regulator, that's for testing evap systems, etc. But the CO2 system in general works really, really well. So your shop should be investing in this if they're doing R1234YF. Now there's experts out there that recommend things like micron gauges when you do a vacuum on the system to make sure the system is properly evacuated as far as all moisture's out, because it'll show on the gauge if you still have moisture in there or you have a leak. But we're not going to get into that. There's more qualified people out there than me to talk on micron gauges and the use of them. So find them on the internet, because I'm not that guy. I just use an AC machine and I fix AC systems all the time and they work and don't leak. So that's what's really important. So I hope you found this video helpful. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.